Hey, it's been a while since I've done any videos about my Jeep. Since my last trip up to the mountains, I've been having some overheating issues. I haven't really done much with the Jeep. I'm waiting to do some maintenance on it. I decided that I wanted to make a video of the install of my heavy-duty tire carrier that I have here. It's a rough country heavy-duty tire carrier. It replaces the stock hinges. And also broke 100 subscribers. It's pretty exciting. Figured it's probably time to start putting some videos back up on the channel again. It's been a few months. So as you can see, I've already installed this and I've been using it. I mean, I've had this on for a little over a year now, maybe about a year. So I'm actually going to be removing it. There's some adjustments that I want to make on the height of the spare tire on there because that's all adjustable. But also I meant to make a video when I put it on and it just didn't happen, and I really want to get that on there. I like doing the rough country videos. So this is about as far as I'm going to go in disassembling it. I'll just show you right now. So I don't have it connected to the tailgate right now, right? So when you're removing your stock hinge, you're going to remove it from here, which is going to release it from the tailgate, and then you're going to remove, you know, these pieces right here. But anyways, you can kind of see the construction here of this heavy-duty tire carrier. So instead of being two hinges that just kind of like two thin metal hinges that just kind of come off of here and attach up and down, it's kind of connected, right? Well, not kind of, it is connected. And then you see how it's going to line up there, and the support, instead of the support only coming out to here, it goes all the way out to where the actual tire carrier portion will be on there. So yeah, another thing is that when you disconnect this portion of the tailgate, I'm gonna try and show you this. The tailgate is going to be able to, whoop, it's going to fall off, so you need to support it with something, which I'm not currently. The instructions say to use like a block of wood or something like that. I didn't have a block of wood that was big enough. But these joints inside here, where the mounting bolts are going to go into, they slip around, so you can kind of adjust it. So get this part on there, so this is off like this, and then when you put it on, you can kind of lift up on the tailgate and run those bolts in and align it there. You want it to be level, pretty much, right? You want it to be however it was when you took off the stock tailgate, because all this stuff is lined. So however it was when you took off the stock hinges, you want it to be the same when you put this one on. Otherwise, it's going to put too much pressure on certain parts. It's going to rattle. It's going to shake. It's going to make a bunch of noise. It's a 12 millimeter socket for these bolts. So you get these long bolts that are going to go through this right here. This hardware comes with the tire carrier itself. So you're just going to put those through and just start threading them in by hand first, just to make sure they're catching those threads. Because the thread basket that's behind them, I don't know specifically what you call them, but they slip around. You can hear that one moving. So you just want to make sure that it catches before you start trying to thread anything in really heavily. Okay, so as it sits right now, the tailgate can still shift up. You can't really see it too well from there. Right here in the hinge, you can actually see where the tailgate's definitely sitting too low, because there's a big gap between the actual like hinge itself and the tailgate reinforcement. So we want to shift this whole thing up. There we go. Found a sweet spot. It might not be perfect, but it's noticeably better than where it was before. So if you're doing this on your Jeep, I highly recommend finding a block of wood or something that'll fit underneath the side over by the handle and match it up on this side over here. That is the easiest way to do it. Mine is still not perfect, but so close to level. So now that this part's mounted, we can move on to the next step, which is starting to mount the plate for the tire carrier itself. So here's the actual tire carrier portion itself, right? It's 3 different pieces. So you'll have to adjust this. This can go like adjust in or out, just depending on how big your tires are, how wide your tires are, so they need to be able to clear the tailgate. Mine could be set in closer, but my CB antenna runs behind my spare tire. So I have to set it out here so that my antenna has a little bit of room to wobble on its spring and not just sit there and smash into my rear tire all the time. As far as height, I mean, you can see where I had mine set before, and I had my hardware set up. I feel like the lower the better. There's not really any guidance in the instructions on exactly how you want it set up. It's really up to you. But the stock tire carrier that comes with it, it puts the spare tire to sit pretty much in this groove on your rear bumper, right? So I'm pretty sure that it's supposed to be low. I'm pretty sure that you want it to stay kind of low. Here's the hardware that you'll be using for the tire carrier to mount the adapter to the actual plate itself. You got 6 of these, and put 2 in the bottom hole, or whatever your bottom hole ends up being, which we'll do in a second, and then 4 up in the top, because most of the weight will be pulling from the top like that, right? So you'll see it'll make plenty of sense. So yeah, so you can see how I had it lined up previously from all the dirt and dust collected in there. It's about like that. But now we're gonna push it down probably to about, I feel like there will be better. I mean, that'll push it down a couple inches. So once you have it figured out where you want the adapter to sit on the actual tire carrier plate here, then you're just going to go ahead and start installing this hardware. I'd start with the bottom. This thing's kind of top heavy. Just run that through. You got a bolt, washer, and a nut for the back side. And you can actually you can mess with this while it's actually on the tailgate without removing it. It's a little bit of a pain, but it's not difficult to do. I did it when I first installed it, when I was trying to figure out exactly where I wanted my tires to sit. And I was going to do it again this time to readjust it a little bit more, but I wanted to make a video of like the full installation process, so I figured I'd just remove it all and make sure things are good on there. Now we'll go up as high as we can for the top ones. So the 2 highest bolts are going to be these 2 up in here. And the last 2 bolts also towards the top as well. So once those are all set in there and set in there as straight as you can get them, you can see that the bolts on the back side of the plate here. I'm just doing everything hand tight so I can still make minor adjustments if I need to. Then you just want to make sure that things push as far down on the bolts and as straight as you can get it. You want it to be level. Once you have that, then you can start tightening up those bolts. Use an Allen key to tighten up the bolt. Going to mount right here, just like this. However, you're going to have 2 metal plates that are like spacers that are going to go right here to make up the difference for this gap, because you can get this plate by itself without the actual heavy-duty hinge, right? So when you buy it as a set, it comes with these 2 little gappers that are going to go right here, and then in between all that, you got rubber pads that will go down to help from metal on metal wear. So here's those 2 gappers, and as you can see, they're kind of different shapes than each other, so you want to make sure they're oriented properly. The instructions don't do a great job of showing this step. I kind of learned this the hard way. These gappers, these spacers, I guess, they're actually going to literally line up with the cutout of the plate itself. And they're just going to go on the side that's going to be over here. So this one, which doesn't do you much good watching the video, you'll have to line them up and you'll have to see. But this one's going to go on the top, and the other one is going to go on the bottom. And then the other tough part is that you have those rubber pieces that you got to stick down while you're putting these on, and then another rubber piece that goes between this and the plate. And you got to hold all that together while you're putting this plate up. It's not the it's a pain in the ass. So here's my solution: a little bit of Scotch tape. It's like having an extra set of hands. So once you got this side on, it should help. I'm not promising to make it any easier, but it should help you line up the spacers and their rubber counterparts on this side. So you're gonna find the ones, you can kind of see it a little bit better now, that line up with the actual piece itself. So if you look at this one right here, just gotta find the right orientation. You'll see that it actually lines up with the way that the plate itself is cut out. You want to be careful when you're doing this. Make sure that all these go in by hand and they're threading in good, because if you cross thread and strip the nut basket inside the tailgate, I mean, you're gonna have to dig those out and replace them. I honestly don't know what that would entail. I don't want to find out. So if you can kind of see what I did there, I used this top one to line up this spacer, so that way I could line up the antenna mount, spacer, and the plate itself all at the same time. So really, everything that you're lining up there, you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different things you got to line up with a small hole and a bolt. So now those are lined up. I can put some pressure against this so it doesn't slip away from me. I can take this one out, put it right back in. There we go. We're going to start tightening them down. And these are a 13 millimeter socket. I'm just going to tighten all these in. So once all this stuff is tightened down, you're pretty much done. You just got to put your spare tire back on. You want to make sure that you double checked everything and everything is tight. So there it is, guys. Rough country heavy duty tire carrier and hinge replacement all installed. So there's the hinge side, spare tire mounted. And you can see hugs it in pretty close and tight. Still room for my antenna to go on there. And then also you want to check too when you're done. I already checked this, but I'm going to show it again. You want to make sure that your tailgate still opens and shuts. Good to go. My honest review of this product, after having it on my Jeep for little over a year now. I've wheeled with it on there. It's been carrying my spare tire. I haven't had any issues with it. I mean, I've had one issue, and we'll get to that, but it's not it's just not something that really bugs me, and it's something that I could fix pretty easily. It's not an expensive fix, but I wouldn't bother since I still have my huge spare tire on here. But we'll get to that. Rough Country hardware. It's never super impressive. You can see all the corrosion coming out of there. That's coming from inside here. This through bolt right here, and it's just kind of, as it gets wet, it kind of leaks out of there. So it's not this piece itself that's rusting, because that's all powder coated. But it's just a piece running through it. So that's less than awesome, but you know, it's pretty sturdy. I mean, it holds the tailgate for sure. That, I mean, you know. But hey, this was like what, $350 or something like that. Whereas a rear tire or a rear bumper with the tire carrier built onto it, those are $800 on the cheap side. So you know, if you're just trying to get that stock tire carrier off of there, you don't have big bucks to spend on a rear bumper like that. And this is a good alternative. And other people make them too. I know Terraflex makes one of these. I think Genrite makes one. Theirs is pretty expensive, but it's like a whole system that connects to both sides of your tailgate. I saw that one online. It was pretty cool looking. These right here, you got these holes, top and bottom, and I don't know what they are. They're threaded, but there's no hardware that came with this tire carrier that goes into these. So I don't know what it's for, and I've searched Rough Country's website trying to find if there's like an accessory for this or something like that. And I can't find anything. I mean, maybe they are antenna mounting points. I'm not sure. But none of the hardware goes in there, so I don't really know what their purpose is. So if one of you guys know, if I got like a Rough Country enthusiast out there, tell me in the comments below what these are for. On to something that I'm critical of here. And this is actually related to what I just showed you. Right there, you can see some paracord pieces. You might notice that there's something missing. There is supposed to be the tailgate stop right here, and it comes out of this, connects to the tailgate, and it's that kind of like that weird swing arm thing, and it holds the tailgate open, which I'm having to hold the tailgate open on my own right now. What these paracords are serving, the purpose they're serving, is that my tailgate won't open up past that. Otherwise, it'll just swing out as far as it can and smash into my rear tail lights, which happened. This broke when I put on this tailgate. This thing right here just is not built to handle the extra weight of a spare tire being on there. So when you swings open, it pops out of its locking bracket inside here, and that's the end of it. Last note real quick, recording on the phone. Just took it out for a test drive. Wanted to hit some little bumps on the road to see if I still have that tailgate rattle that I was getting before. It's gone. So that's the importance of making sure that you line up your tailgate right. The way it was before, my tailgate was sagging like this on the side that the hinge is on, and I tried adjusting like the tailgate catch and stuff like that, thinking that's what was out of line, and nothing was working. Every bump I went over, it sounded like there was a machine gun going off in the back of my Jeep. When you're putting that on, if you make that level, and make sure that it's lined up right before you tighten down the part that attaches to the hinges to the tailgate. If you get that lined up right, it'll be smooth sailing. Also, having the tire a little bit lower, I can actually see a little bit out of my rear view mirror, a little bit better than before. So lining things up right goes a long way. Take your time, get it done. So thanks for watching. If you found this helpful, please hit like. If you haven't already, you should subscribe. I'll talk to y'all later.